So the project came about because of some ideas from customers and staff. The project is about helping women through the perimenopause or menopause. So this became an idea of how we're going to do that. So the project has needed health elements for perimenopause ladies, and this involved exercise. So we got a yoga tutor called Sarah, who was great, and then we had Sue, who actually has an NHS background, lots of information about symptoms of the menopause, so talking to women about their symptoms and what to expect or where to get advice from and things like that. Then as the project developed, we got cooking sessions, and so of how to help women cooking for their time, if you like. So that included proteins and things like that. So we did cookery sessions and they went really well as well. And then we had a women's health event, which was general health for women at that time as well. So the yoga sessions we had at the Lightbox and around the borough, they had 4 sessions. So the introduction of yoga, we did how to help with stress, because tends to, if you're in perimenopause or menopause, that you can be really stressed through that point. So doing techniques that they could take home and do at home. Next ones would be about other symptoms, so stretching, and then techniques through the week would build up to the last one where, again, you'd be able to be confident to do those exercises, and then you'd take them at home as well and be able to do those. What we found is people made friends. And we tend to find that people would talk about what they were struggling with, or it was a time that they don't have usually to themselves, and that 2 hours were for themselves.
For me, it's been the people coming out of the shell. At some of the sessions, we had people that necessarily they weren't so confident when they arrived, but they have been able to engage with the rest of the group. They've then understood, by being a really welcoming space, that everybody just got to know each other, understanding and empathising with other people in the room, that everybody was on their own journey. Everybody has got a slightly different experience, and being able to understand that they weren't alone, they were just transitioning through that perimenopause or menopausal journey into a different part of their life. But it's not about a time of their life ending. It's about a new beginning and just learning how your body's changing, how you can adapt, and how you can optimise this new period of your life.
Cookery, so Chris was the chef, and we mostly did them in 4-week sessions. So the first ones would be just talking about general health and what's good for you, and instructions of like how to use a knife, because lots of people think they know how to use the instruments, but they don't. So cooking skills, and then how to use lentils, but also how to use ingredients that are cheap but really healthy and filling. And they went for 4 weeks. We had one at Roundhouse where we did over Christmas, and we're just doing some now at Cudworth.
So for me, it's been fascinating, because obviously when I was asked to come on board with this project about the menopause, I've had to kind of go back to school. So I've been looking, at the various things that you need in terms of the minerals, vitamins, etc., and then creating recipes around that to fit in. So we've been trying to make sure that the dishes that we do have been creative, tasty, but also packing in all that information that will help support the guys through the menopause. I mean, one lady actually said to us, until she'd smelt the herbs when we'd pass them round on one of the sessions, she'd never actually smelt herbs before. So, it's all the stuff that they've been learning. And then as each week as they come back as well, saying we've put this into practice, we made that dish this week, We've been including lots of hints and tips about, getting calcium in your diet, vitamin D, especially when you're going through the menopause, and how it can support. So how food can actually heal as well as just fill stomachs. And I think so, to say, what's the one highlight, there's been too many.
This project became quite personal just because talking to staff of mentioning they were interested in this project, but also talking to friends and family and customers, they all kept mentioning, in fact, that they didn't feel like they could go and talk to someone about it, or feel like they could talk to the family sometimes. So this project was really about come and see what you can advocate for yourself. So find some education about what you're going through, or maybe what your partner's going through, because in the cookery we have a couple that comes just so he can appreciate it as well. And talk to women that they didn't dare say, oh, that was a symptom, or oh, I go through that too, but they didn't dare tell a partner. So it gave a lot of confidence. So I think that's why we did the project. The libraries, I feel, is a good setting for this project because I felt it wasn't clinical. So some people feel very scared about going to the doctors and the NHS, whereas here we're a part of the community, we're very friendly, approachable. Librarians are one of the most trusted people, so we just thought it's a relaxed environment for people could come and talk to us about these things. So to engage with partners in this project, I searched out talking to social prescribers, I talked to the NHS, I talked to departments of health, and that's how I got to know Sarah and how I got to know Sue, because they'd already worked with certain people. In the past, some of these people had actually worked together and they'd not even realised they were joining together. So we kind of all sat together, which was nice. The impact, I would say, is that they've made friends. They felt confident on looking at their feedback, because we asked for feedback, what they got. They felt more confident to ask questions, to maybe go to the GP about some of these symptoms, to try things that probably they wouldn't have because they didn't dare ask a medical person. They also started to look after themselves more. That might be exercise, it might be food, or general health. And just taking those snippets, they found confidence in themselves. So I feel like they've really benefited from health-wise, but also socially, and also knowing that they're not isolated alone with these symptoms. So across the workshops, what I tried to do in the bid was to go through the whole borough or into deprived areas, but some that might be areas that we don't think of always going. So we went to Penistone, which is quite a rural area, so we don't tend to go out that as much. Then we had the centre of town because the deprivation, but then we picked like Goldthorpe, which is a very deprived area. We've been to Roundhouse, and lastly we were at Cudworth, and that was an extension of like going somewhere just because they have the facilities of kitchen, and that's actually been one of our best ones, which is a deprived area with numbers, so we're fully booked on the cooking, but the numbers for yoga was actually Roundhouse. Now that is a very poor area in Abersley, so it really showed areas that really needed that help. Today we're having a little celebration of the project itself. In this project today, I'm trying to have the yoga instructors come for people to say hello to them and maybe hopefully talk to them again and celebrate what they've done and what they've learnt. We've got the chef here. We've got a nice drop-in craft for people just to celebrate and mingle. I'm hoping that the participants who've been will come today and just celebrate what we've gone through, and hopefully they can take more information at home. We've also got other stalls for other information that they can continue in the future as well, so hopefully they'll learn this, but they'll carry on getting some help that they need as well.
Well, I've enjoyed today. That's been really interesting because I've never done canvas printing before. But I would say it's been a blend, so I did some sessions, I've done some at the Lightbox, I've done some yoga at Royston, and I've done the nutrition, and they've all really complemented one another, to be honest. The value of arts and well-being are absolutely paramount because it's a public resource, so I've been really lucky to be involved in something new and innovative, not done it before. Meet new people, learn new skills, particularly around nutrition, and supporting one another, just having lovely conversations.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've done so many different things that I really never imagined I would do. I've done some yoga focused on perimenopausal aged women. I've done a reflexology session, which was really relaxing and an opportunity to talk and discuss things with people. And I'm just finishing off a cookery project where we've worked with a chef to learn about nutrition in perimenopausal age women. I think it's been fantastic because it's just given an opportunity to try some new things, to do some relaxing things, a little bit of me time, but also discussing and talking with people of a similar age, having similar experiences. It's been really relaxed, really accessible. It's been wonderful.
I think for me, highlights have been when people have thanked either the person on the talks, like Sue, or maybe one of the instructors, that they feel listened to, that they've felt the benefit in themselves, that they're not alone. So some of the feedback that has been really lovely, and I think highlights for me is that even if it's only a handful of people, we've really helped them on their way, and hopefully that they've taken more ownership on their health.